let's talk about a company that has been near and dear to the show.
Hmm.
We've probably spoke about it with maybe within the first two episodes, and we watched its ascension and we've watched it decline. Let's talk about Block, formerly Square, ticker SQ. It is
I got a rule of thumb. Like if something don't work out the first time, I got to leave it the second time. That's why I'll never go back to my exes. Shout out to y'all, appreciate y'all. But so
her loss.
on
Her
that,
loss.
on the her loss. If you watching this, is too late. So with that said, I want to stay away from all commentary regarding blocks. I'm glad Jack's back. Jack, I appreciate you. Right. But this being the only stain on my jacket, Shotty set a pick for me. Flex. Let me get a ball screen. I'm cool.
So what happened with him? What happened with Block? Because at one time you referred to it as the next JP Morgan. It was up $272, and now it's at $42. So I mean, its fall has been historic.
Yeah.
The collapse.
I mean, you already declined.
What exactly happened?
Yeah, for Square, the best benefactor was Jay-Z. He did a tremendous deal with them and did some stuff with Tidal. I think, and we saw it happen with Zuckerberg. I think it happens to all of us. Like things can be going well, we get caught off guard. Jack wasn't putting the same amount of energy, effort, and time into it, and then when interest rates shot up dramatically, it killed a lot of the margins tied to Block or Square. And also, when you're betting big on crypto, and crypto takes a big massive dump in the market and all credibility is lost, and then the banks begin attacking it. It was like, I mean, even with JP Morgan, as soon as I said that 2 weeks later, they was like, give it 3 months and we'll see if they are the new us. Meanwhile, the same strategy that Square had in Bitcoin and that Coinbase had, they are now adopted and implemented inside of other banks. So but my thing, if I had a blinder, I didn't think the interest rates would kick up that high to destroy the company, because if so, I wouldn't have said it. But that was the biggest blind spot, if you will, that I have for that company, not thinking the interest rates would tick up that fast.
Yeah, interest rates. I mean, it's kind of double fold the problem, right? So you're talking about a fintech company, and so we know when interest rates rise, that usually affects tech a little bit different because the price of business, the price of infrastructure is going to be a little bit different. But when you're talking about a financial company as well, your profit margins get shrunk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty substantially when the interest rates go. So they got hit with like a double head hammer when we think about it, right? Like interest rates from one end and the other. And then obviously that pivot to cryptocurrency. We're still waiting to see how that's going to work out. But the other part is, what was the competitive advantage that they had?
To me, having everyone in at mass scale wanting to use an easy payment provider, they were much better than PayPal. They got people into crypto. But ID and Stripe are going through the same issue. Like Stripe hasn't been able to go public because of the interest rate change. It's affected how a lot of they do business. We've talked about before. And most payment providers are not the easiest to deal with. For a while, they had an edge, the technological advantage. And I think a lot of times when people see some of Elon's like eccentric nature, they try to mimic that. And I think Jack did too much. Not saying that he's not a great executive. And there was a lot of infighting too at Square that led to him not running things the way that he wanted to, which also happened at Twitter. And that led to a demise. Which now they got to bring the boy back and see if they can save that ship. But I'm not hitching my eggs into that one basket. Also, too, I'll say very honestly, too, if you lost money on Square, I apologize, but it shouldn't have been one of the top 6 things that you invested in. I've been clear on that. So I'm not caping. I'm gonna put it on my jacket, wear with pride. You the greatest investor in this generation, but you on the I talk about all the time. I still am. It's a lot of people y'all adore who ain't put up the pics that I have, but I will hold this one on my jacket and say that if this is my one, you know how like when Floyd got hit by Shane Mosley, people like, oh, hey, Madonna, that could have killed him. That's like, well, if one hit is the highlight of everybody else's career, I'll take it. It is what it is.
Yeah, and you were honorable about that and very vulnerable about that moment. So
yeah,
greatly appreciate that. Let's go over to another one, 52-week low. Where will it go? Target. We're talking about something. We saw it hit its high during the pandemic of over $248. Right now, it's trading at about 105. What's your thoughts on Target?
I don't like Target unless it gets to $40.23.
$40?
What competitive advantage do they have over Walmart?
No, I'm asking. I was just clarifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
$40. That's why I personally like it
at
that level. Because if interest rates continue to climb, they had a very miscalculated step with what caused some of this stock to fall. But what advantage do they have over Apple, which is a store as well, Amazon, Walmart, Mercado Libre, Costco. Even though Alibaba stock is not doing well, Alibaba, Costco, like you have some sharks in that retail space. Sheen a little bit hotter than Target right now, even though I won't order, but shout out to y'all who do. Sheen a little bit hotter. It's like, yo, I don't see what the competitive advantage is. Once again, when interest rates are higher and your customer base are pinching dollars and it seems like your goods are getting pricier than ever. Like I know people go and spend $200 in Target and it's like you walk out with 2 bags. It's not a great feeling. So, yeah. And if I'm also comparing things like how much money are they acquiring per square foot? You got to beat McDonald's, you got to beat Domino's, you got to beat Apple. You got to beat Louis Vuitton. That's why I would say from the very beginning, you're not comparing sectors, you're comparing best of breed. Always. And if you can't beat Louis Vuitton in that or Dior, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real tough.
So Noriega just put on Instagram, he said, yo, Bitcoin or whatever is called ain't worth SHIT.
You're gonna keep it clean.
What would you say to people similar to Noriega that lost money in cryptocurrency? Because I don't think that I think he's misguided in his statement, but I can understand where that frustration may be coming from.
When somebody comes in and says you can buy an asset class at any price, that's the biggest mistake ever. Number 2, you should only buy Bitcoin at maybe 22,000, 25,000 at the highest or below. And the funds and banks are going to ruin all of the fun in crypto to then take it over for themselves. I know I'm not the most I don't know Satoshi Nakamoto, and I don't know. I get it. The prices were right though. Everything comes down to price. Like even everyone who had a $300,000 house and they bought it for $450,000, they are upset today with adjusted inflation. The price of where you buy an asset matters more than anything. So if he bought it too high, I understand why he would feel like that. If he bought it at 22,000 or 23,
I think this comes from a few different things without knowing the situation, but I think it comes from him probably buying too high, which is a lesson for investors. Never buy the high. That's important.
Yep.
I think it also comes from him having a lack of understanding of cryptocurrency. That's important. Never invest in something that you don't understand what you're investing in. That's important. And I think that it comes from just a lot of propaganda in this space, good and bad, which causes confusion. So it's good to block out the noise. That comes from being educated. When you are firm in what you know, then the good news isn't going to make you just buy at any price. The bad news isn't going to make you panic. But yeah, I think that, once again, I think that Nore is probably down on crypto because he probably purchased at a high and it probably, has lost money or his account is in the red and he doesn't understand like what is I haven't used it. I've never used Bitcoin anywhere. I've never seen anybody use Bitcoin. What is this thing that cost 60,000 a few years ago? Now it's in the 20, it's like this is stupid. But once again, it's having an understanding and not buying at highs.
Never buy off the hype.
Please don't. And then also a shout out to the Yalla, but understanding the difference between trading and investing. Right, like he's saying today it's not worth something, but in 5 years he might have to revisit the conversation and have a different take on it. But yeah, I mean, everything Shai just explained is why this is important. Having these conversations is important. Educating people about the asset class is important, and having platforms with people who are actually knowledgeable who've done these things, right? So we can learn from people's mistakes is also important. So shout out to the Yalla, man. You guys shoot him a text, let him know.
Yeah,
all right, man.
Yalla.
Tap in.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Tap in.
I mean, and let me say this too. Like, I can stand accountable on Square. That's one out of however many stocks Cool. Where's everyone who was advocating for it when it's not working? A lot of those people got quiet. I'm tired of people treating this like a hustle, podcasting like a hustle, investing like a hustle. It has to be a lifestyle. But by the time most people get enough courage to want a copy, they'll put out 1 or 2 episodes and it's like, y'all got 14 in the can. It's like, come on, master a craft.